Welcome back to BST, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on yet another episode. It is a beautiful day in America. Thanksgiving. I'm sure the Bengals are very thankful for Joe Burrow being back. We'll get to that game later. We're here to talk about the three football games that took place. It's what makes Thanksgiving so good is you have the food. You got like turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, rolls, pie for dessert, and you get to watch football all day. And
What
most
about the
people.
family?
Okay, so there's food, football, and then family. There's
Oh,
the
okay.
three
That
F's.
order.
Yeah, family comes third, of course. Just kidding.
Depends on which ones.
Yeah,
Just
but
kidding.
it's a great day. And we had pretty much all three games were good. The Bengals game, I still think it was a competitive game, fun to watch, see Burrow back. But
Yeah.
let's start with the Packers. I already got it up here. I didn't even mean to do that, but we'll start with the Packers and the Lions game. Packers win 31-24. Let me start off by saying I'm extremely proud of this Packers team. Easily the best game they've played since probably week one when they beat the Lions. And at the end of the day, this game came down to Matt LaFleur having balls of steel, which we just haven't seen this season. We haven't seen Matt LaFleur be aggressive like he was. 3 for 3 on third down. And those three plays was a touchdown, and the fourth down conversion to win the game. And we just really haven't seen that. And if you look back almost a year ago today, I think it was like December 5th, when we faced the Lions in Detroit, and they beat us, and they went 4 for 5 on third down.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of that game. And it's like we could not stop them. And they had a touchdown, and then they also had the game-winning conversion, and then they kicked the game-winning field goal. So that's the difference in this game.
Yeah.
And those were big, big plays for the Packers. Like if Wicks doesn't catch either the fourth down conversion or the touchdown, I mean that's huge swings. What a game from the Packers.
Yeah. No, I was definitely had my blood pressure up
Oh,
for
100%.
most of the game, but overall, yeah, like you said, most complete game they've played to date. A little bit different in terms of week one when Detroit was a little bit asleep at the wheel when they came into Lambeau, I think.
They just looked off in that
You
game.
just never know what you're going to get in week one, and
Yeah.
so Packers looked really good in that game. And this one, it felt like, Detroit has they've kind of had an up and down season, kind of similar to Green Bay. Losing Amon-Ra St. Brown in that first
that
half,
was a huge point.
that was huge. But really, honestly, Jared Goff started over 3, and then he was perfect after that. I mean, what, he threw like 3 more incompletions the rest of the game. So it felt like after Amon-Ra went down, Detroit started to get a little bit more consistent on offense, and it's not because he wasn't in there, but I would say it kind of it was a definite impact to the game. But the Packers just, man, what an effort. Detroit moved the ball. Right then it felt like just a seesaw battle, answering scores back and forth. I didn't feel like that was the type of game Green Bay wanted to get into with Detroit, because Detroit's such a high octane offense. Seems like they can score at will.
I don't think they have a choice anymore.
Oh well, and yeah, I mean their defense has struggled. It's interesting because Elton Jenkins goes down a few games ago for Green Bay. They shuffle the line, and it feels like they're protecting Love and opening up running lanes a lot better than they have been. I mean, you commented in the game they opened up that they had the biggest hole I've seen all year.
100%.
And Jacobs ran through that, so the running game ran pretty well.
Jacobs 4.9 yards per carry. That's close to what we were seeing last year from him, and he just has been like at 3.8 on average.
I think it just comes down to, it felt like LaFleur's game plan was like, we're going to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands. We're going to be aggressive. And that's how the only way we're going to beat this team is being aggressive. Where last week they felt like, you know what, we can be conservative and win. And they knew going into Detroit, you can't play conservatively and win that game. You got to take chances. And it was great to see them capitalize. Would love to see that happen on earlier downs and not always on fourth, but you hit the nail on the head. The throw to Wicks, the catch by Wicks, really, on that
A
first
guy who
touchdown.
struggled with drops last year.
He really did. He had a good rookie year, bad sophomore slump. Fought through a lot of injuries so far this year. So he's been in and out of the lineup. And great catch. I know I was reading a lot on social media, and there was some conflict on that first touchdown by Wicks on fourth, whether he got his feet down. They did that replay assist.
I see it both ways.
They confirmed it. I understand. It's hard to tell. Sometimes I think it's a struggle of where did he get control.
Yep.
But the ball really doesn't move, and you establish yourself in bounds. I feel like that's pretty textbook. So, yeah, just great win. I mean, Micah Parsons, just the defense. I think that's just kind of
he was a defense today.
Yeah. And I mean, just, real proud of the team. It was great. All three phases, played really well. Was there a turnover in the game?
No.
Only turnover on downs. I mean, it was a clean game by both sides. There was a fumble. Who fumbled that? Dobbs. Dobbs fumbled that in the red zone.
Big recovery by Rasheed Walker.
Yeah, bounced right to Walker, and he fortunately recovered that. So that was huge. But it felt like, was it going to come down to whoever had the ball at the end? And that's exactly what it came down to. So, the plays to ice that game were just huge, crazy. And man, my blood pressure was up.
I agree. I mean, this is why you pay Jordan Love to play like this in these big games, and that's why you pay Micah Parsons to play like this. Parsons had 2.5 sacks, 10 pressures, 3 tackles for loss. I'd say one of his most complete games. I think at times this season we've seen him obviously rush the passer. It's what he's prolific at. He's the first player in NFL history to have the first 5 seasons of his career, 12 sacks in each. So obviously he's on a Hall of Fame track at this point. So we know he's a great pass rusher, but I think at times this year in the run defense, he hasn't been as explosive, hasn't really found like the tackle for losses. He's been good. He's held his ground. But I thought in this game, like he had multiple times where he's stopping guys in the backfield. And the Packers contained Gibbs. It felt like it wasn't the case, and I think that's a lot of times this season with the Packers where it feels like maybe the running backs are going for more than they are, but you hold them to 68 yards, and this is just a guy who ran for 200 plus last week. Yeah. So the Packers' run defense this year is really very, very good. They still had a bunch of explosives in the ground game. I don't think this was a good performance by the defense at all. After the good start, like the start they had was phenomenal. They were getting after Goff. From after that, it felt like no pressure was really coming from anybody but Parsons.
There was some poor tackling too.
But yeah, the Carrington Valentine tackle was horrific.
Yeah,
that allowed a touchdown. And honestly, Williams just the kryptonite. The Packers don't have the athletes at corner to keep up with a guy like that, and they'd run him on these crossers over the middle. And at the end of the day, when you don't have Quay Walker, who's much better coverage linebacker than McDuffie, McDuffie's just not at this point. He can fit the run. He's not able to back into coverage and get the depth he needs to. And they were just gashing Green Bay on those crossing routes with Williams all day long. So it was a great win. And there are definitely building blocks here. Like you said, I thought the run game was a ton better. I mean, Jacobs just had some explosive runs we haven't seen so far this season. So I think there's some building blocks there. And for whatever reason, the Packers just do a really good job at stopping Hutchinson from getting going.
Not allowing a sack was crazy.
And they couldn't get really very much pressure on Love. And when he did, I thought Love was very good in the pocket and was able to maneuver. And, I mean, we also missed opportunities. I mean, he stepped up in the pocket, should have hit Melton for an easy touchdown.
Honestly, that
was
the worst. That was maybe the only bad play I saw Love do for the most part. I mean, besides some of the 3-and-out stuff, where the offense isn't clicking, but that was like, it felt like that was the only throw he really missed.
Hmm.
I mean, in terms of legit opportunities. I mean,
And
he does a really good job of throwing balls away in the area where they just nobody has any,
I
hope.
think it's officially like Jordan Love throwing picks and like turnover. He's not the same player as he was the past 2 years of him starting. Where I'm not sure he's going to be another 10 interception guy like he was in the first 2 years. Like he's taking phenomenal care of the ball. Obviously, it's Toyota-thon, so you have all that. He was just really impressive. Obviously, you got the deep ball to Christian Watson. We really haven't seen. I mean, when's the last time we had like a deep ball touchdown like
Yeah.
that? It's been a while.
Well, I mean, and you're right. And Green Bay, I mean, everybody's dealing with injury, but you lose Tucker Kraft, you feel like, wow, that was a key piece of the offense. They were running so much through Tucker Kraft, but then you realize, I mean, you had him out. You didn't have Matthew Golden, who's your first round draft pick, who really has struggled in his rookie year. Not, he's had some injuries, he's been banged up, and also maybe scheme wise, LaFleur hasn't really schemed a whole lot open for him. So he's not really having the rookie year that I think a lot of people thought he would, but he wasn't in the game. You've been battling injury. Elton Jenkins, your starting center's out. We lose Devontae Wyatt, which looks like for the season on defense late in that game. Pretty banged up, but you forget that, you've got Watson, you've got Dobbs, you've got Wicks. These guys have all been, and they're all in their third or fourth year
I think
now.
Watson and Wicks are the key.
Yeah, I think it's looking like, early on it was looking like Romeo Dobbs was kind of separating himself a little bit as kind of the go-to. He still is there in key sequences,
It's
but
slowly turning into Watson.
it kind of feels like it's moved over to Watson since he's been back, and then now Wicks stepping up. It feels like hopefully that's a huge momentum
The Packers have
builder for him.
completely flipped. They were a very middle of the field team with Kraft, and you kind of losing Kraft kind of took away your easy button where you could just get him the ball in the flat. He could make plays, and a lot of answers have been sucked dry just because of his loss. And they've just switched to primarily just an outside passing game where they're throwing a lot of out routes to Watson. I mean, they hit one for a third down conversion in the key drive to end the game. So that's become a key of their offense. But I did want to touch on Detroit's defense for a second because it was puzzling to me how they played their game defensively. And I know Kelvin Shepard is a big... I mean, they had time to see where they struggled, and he said in his press conferences, like, we just got to get back to what we want to do. We're not going to play the matchup. We're just going to do what we want to do. And it worked against the Buccaneers, and I commemorated him for that because I'm like, you know what? That's a good strategy sometimes. Just do what you want to do and impose your will. But we've seen teams have success against Green Bay playing too high safety and keeping everything in front of them, not playing man coverage. And the Lions just decided, no, we're going to play man coverage. And, I mean, how many, all of those touchdowns in the red zone, those passing touchdowns, that's just good play calls by LaFleur, good man-beating play calls.
Yeah.
And it was puzzling to me that Detroit went that route, considering what we've seen from other teams. So where I will say this is a great offensive performance of Green Bay, it's a good building block. I also don't think any team should be playing like this against Green Bay because it's the one thing that their guys can actually do.
Yeah.
Since Kraft got injured, we have not seen a successful touchdown deep ball like that to Watson. I mean, there's just nobody over the top.
Yeah.
And nobody remotely close over the top.
Yeah. How many have we seen where you're pushing it down the field
Yes.
and it's into double coverage?
Exactly. And Watson has to go make
triple.
a play.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting to me that Detroit decided to go that route. And I think that was just a bad decision because the teams have laid the blueprint on how to slow down Green Bay.
Yeah.
And it's worked. So to me, keep following the blueprint that's working. You at a certain extent, if it's proven to work, you don't have to keep trying to impose your will. Just do something that works. So I think Green Bay will still struggle offensively for the remainder of the season, but they certainly put themselves. I mean, this was a must-win game. At the end of the day, it was a must-win game. You got to win against your divisional opponents, and in many ways, I'm not going to say Detroit is eliminated because obviously they're still a good team. They still have good players, and they're going to get an All-Pro back in Kirby Joseph, and hopefully Amon-Ra St. Brown comes back sooner rather than later. So it seems to be kind of a week-to-week injury. But I mean, if we look at the New York Times playoff chance calculator, they have them at a 55% chance to make the playoffs. But it gets dicey here because you're up against the Cowboys next week, the Rams the following week, and then the Steelers. I mean, those are no easy games, especially the Rams. Like at this point, I'm not sure this Lions team really has a chance against the Rams. So you say you lose that one. And the Cowboys game is even bigger. We'll get to the Cowboys game next, but I mean, the Cowboys look really, really good today, and their defense seems to be kind of revitalized. So you lose that game. If you lose the next two games, you're down to an 18% chance. That's rough.
Yep.
Even if you win out, you're only back at a 50% chance. So these next two games for Detroit are absolutely huge. And right now, it's kind of scary to see where they go from here. Obviously, they're going to be getting what's their center Ragnow back in the fold. So I did think their D line or their O line was good today. But I do think with Ragnow back, it'll be strengthened even more. And they're still pretty injured on that front. And pretty much only Parsons was able to get any pressure. I mean, most of the day, Goff was able to be back there and sling the rock, which when he is protected, you have no chance. And the Packers had no chance, but the offense was just able to get what they needed to get and move. And right now, if we look at the Packers, according to the New York Times, 93% chance to make the playoffs. So this is a huge game. And there's like a group of 8 teams to me, and now Dallas is kind of sneaking into that group. So it could be like a group of 9 teams where I'm like, these guys can make the playoffs. And it's just going to be about who can win their games and who can reach 10, 11 wins. And I mean, the Niners have a pretty easy schedule, so it's looking like they probably will. It's kind of it's gonna be about this NFC North. Who's gonna drop? Who? Bears, Packers, Lions. At most 2 make it. Who are those 2? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun battle, but all I know, this was a huge win for the Packers. You got anything else about this game you want to talk about?
No, I think it's great win.
Massive win. Let's move on to the next game. Chiefs Cowboys. Cowboys win 31-28. Horrible start for Dallas. They threw the pick on the opening drive. Dak threw it right to the guy, and then Kansas City scores right after. And Dallas finds himself down after the first quarter. Kansas City, we'll start there. Last week we said if they lost, the season was over. And I'm not going to overreact because they're still Kansas City. They still have a path. I think as long as they need to stay away from 8 losses because I think that firmly eliminates you. But I still think they're gonna have to win out because if you look at the Chiefs' chance according to the New York Times, 47% chance to make the playoffs. If they even lose one of these games, like we'll assume they beat the Titans and the Raiders, that only improves their playoff chance by 6% or so. If they lose any of these games, especially the Chargers or Texans, that tanks it to 25%. You lose to the Texans and the Chargers, your season is done. So it is scary watch right now. And I mean, think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The earliest Mahomes has ever gotten eliminated in a season is the AFC Championship game.
I know.
And they're at risk of being eliminated in the regular season. and they just
Yep.
went to the Super Bowl. And you returned. I mean, I know your O line got a lot worse, but I don't necessarily think that's the reason they're losing these games. To me, you're kind of wasting a really, really good Mahomes season. I think he's playing really good football. Him and Rice have a special connection. I don't think the offense is the problem. The offense is moving the ball. To me, it's the defense because in years past, what have we seen from Kansas City? It's like when they need the points, when they need something to go their way, or when they need the defense to make a stop, get a turnover, guess what happens? The defense gets a turnover. And we're just not seeing that this season. And honestly, Dallas probably should have had more turnovers. Like, I thought Dak threw some passes, like, that could have been picked for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it's like Kansas City, how many penalties they have? A ton. Uncharacteristic from an Andy Reid team. Yeah, 10 penalties for 119 yards. Like, that is brutal. So I don't know what's wrong with Kansas City right now, but they're in deep trouble.
It's definitely defense, but also their offense. They just don't seem to be able to outscore people anymore. They don't seem to have that ability to just, okay, defense isn't locked in, which when is it not? Usually it is. Let's just go outscore them. And they lack that, and it's been since, they lost Tyreek Hill. They don't have that. They went away from this big play, offense for the most part, and they're a lot more dink and dunk,
Yeah.
and move down the field. And so when the defense isn't playing well and they're allowing points, Kansas City wants to try to run the ball. They want to try to drive on you, and they don't have that ability to hit those big plays unless Mahomes creates it on his own and he runs around forever and then finds a guy wide open 40 yards downfield. Like we saw this in this game. We see it all the time in games with him. And so, just the defense just isn't what it used to be. Not sure what it is. I don't know if it's age. I don't know.
Well, in this game,
if they lost
McDuffie was
anybody.
getting cooked all day. Like,
Yeah.
Pickens and Lamb were owning him.
Yeah.
Like, he just got out physical, but he's a primarily a slot corner, and he
Yep.
just had no chance. So, and if you look at the D line, like outside of Karlaftis and
They're not getting any
Chris
pressure.
Jones, like who's there?
Yeah,
And
they've
even-
got to blitz. They have to blitz to get pressure on a quarterback, and Dak was just especially with CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, he was just able to throw the ball where the blitzer came from, and they just struggled to get any pressure on Dak without blitzing.
And and it's gonna just get worse because Chris Jones, he's still a good player. He's definitely not the player he was over the Super Bowl runs, but like he's getting old. Like he's probably gonna be out of here. Kelsey's getting old. He's probably gonna get out of here.
Yep.
And so
That's the difference. Kelsey used to just be
automatic.
Younger Kelsey was just like,
wide open.
safety blanket. He'll get open. We'll go score.
He was good enough to be the threat. And I love Rice. Like I think Rashee Rice is one of the best wide receivers in football, but he's an explosive player. He can make some plays, but I think they need more out of Worthy. He's just not he's not like, what did he have? 4 for 61.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not bad, but I don't think he's the impact they thought they were getting when they drafted him with the 29th pick or whatever it was, 32nd pick. I don't think he's what they thought.
Well, they need more out of Brown. They need more out of. Worthy for sure, but Hollywood Brown. They need more out of him.
The problem is
Schuster.
They're trying to lead a running game with Kareem Hunt. That just ain't gonna cut it in 2025. Like this isn't Kareem Hunt in 2017 when you had him and he ran for 1,300 yards. Yeah. It's not the same guy. So maybe they try to get Love in the draft, Jeremiah Love. I mean, that would be a dangerous combo with Mahomes and Rice, but it's not looking good in Kansas City right now. They're in this spot where they had this era of success with this team. Chris Jones, I mean, just like the building blocks of their franchise, it was Mahomes, Chris Jones, Kelsey, and that's what led to your success. 2 of those guys are getting old, and they're not the same players they were. And now you just got Mahomes, and we saw how the Patriots did it. They were able to bridge an era where they won a bunch of Super Bowls into a new era where they won a bunch of Super Bowls. They did it for 20 years. this was a dynasty. Players are getting old. They haven't done a particularly good job at doing it, but they have to try to find it here because if not, you're going to be wasting the career of one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Patrick Mahomes. And I'm not going to say that's happening because they're still 6-6. That's not horrible, but they're just not winning the close games they were.
And I think, wasting him. I mean, he's won 3 Super Bowls.
I know, but I'm saying like
the standard is not Tom
he's
Brady.
still in his prime.
I know, but the standard is not Tom Brady. He is the exception. So anytime a guy wins 3 Super Bowls, it's just kind of like, well, sometimes you just kind of have your time,
But
and maybe you can't get it back.
But I will say I get that idea, but if you're not building good teams around one of the best quarterbacks of all time in his prime, you're wasting him.
Well, I get it, but a waste, because I guess your definition is if they don't win a Super Bowl every year, it's a waste.
Well, if they miss the playoffs.
Okay. Yeah, I guess just make the playoffs.
If you get in the dance, like Brady didn't win every year.
Well, and I mean, it's an overreaction in my opinion because it's one season. So if they don't make the playoffs this year, that's fine. He's, the earliest ever was the AFC Championship, which is remarkable in itself right there. I mean, you've got Mahomes been to a Super Bowl 5 times already, right? So I don't know that it's really. I think that's too early to say. Oh, it's wasting his career because you've got one season.
No, I'm just saying like this is the path they're heading down, possibly. Sure, because from what we've seen.
and it's a product of their own success. You start paying guys. You don't have as much money to bring in more, better key players, key contributors sometimes, and
honestly, this opinion people don't want to hear, but they've done a pretty poor job drafting.
And maybe, Andy Reid's just kind of he's Hall of Fame coach, no doubt, one of the greatest of all time, but maybe it's just time for something different. I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's the case necessarily, but there's just something different now about the Chiefs. Kelsey's moving on. How do you replace him? How do you replace some of these other components that that you no longer have? How do you get better defensive play? How do you get all of that? So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, again, 6-6 until they're dead. I'm not calling them dead. But I have not seen a Chiefs team be 1-5 on the road. I mean, that's what's crazy.
And they haven't won a single one-score game this year.
Yeah. So I mean...
Well, I guess they won last week.
We'll see, because I still don't trust the Texans or the Jaguars. So,
Fair.
Those are 2 in front of them. I don't trust either one over the Chiefs. So
I think that what would make it even worse is it's like, there's just no way you're worse than the Jaguars.
Yeah, there's just
every AFC team better be hoping and praying that the Jaguars make it in over the Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, if they make it in as the 7th seed, it's easily probably the most dangerous 7 seed of all time.
I agree,
and I think they'll find if they make it. I would not be shocked if they make a run, at least the AFC Championship, because it just feels like what will happen. But let's transition over to the Dallas side. I'm done with a Dak Prescott disrespect. This guy is very good at football. He may not be worth $60 million, but I think it's pretty close. I think he's worth 50, around there, 55. I think it's weird because is he the highest paid quarterback in the league? Yes, but I think any quarterback could be the highest paid quarterback in the league. It's just about when you get paid. And they had to pay him. In a few years, he won't be. But he's just really good. They seem to have a decent running game now with Javonte Williams. He wasn't spectacular in this game, but it's decent. They plugged the hole there. And this receiving duo with Lamb and Pickens, it's the best in football. Easily. Pickens probably could be a 1 on his own team. I think.
Well, and yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so what are you saying?
Well, here's my thought. Like not to interrupt the take on obviously Lamb and Pickens number 1, but this is my take on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott does not elevate players. He is a product of playing with great players.
I disagree.
He doesn't. Who has he elevated?
CeeDee Lamb?
No. CeeDee Lamb's already great. Dak didn't make him great. Dak's always had great weapons in his tenure as a Dallas Cowboy because Jerry Jones loves the flashy wide receivers. It goes back to Michael Irvin. He's always done that.
But you don't
It
think
was
he's
Amari
making Pickens
Cooper.
better?
Nah, I mean Pickens, I think is more so. I mean, I think Pickens is motivated. Is the difference?
Fair.
I think Pickens is realizing, okay, it was a train wreck in Pittsburgh because I didn't have somebody to throw. And I'm not saying Dak Prescott's not good. He's good, but I don't think he's an elevator of players. I don't think he makes the team around him better necessarily. I think he is just a good quarterback that can hit
I think he's on the low
playing
end.
with really good toys.
I think he's on the low end of a guy who can do that.
Maybe.
I don't think he's
But
like Mahomes.
I don't think Dak Prescott is the reason. I mean, if you took CeeDee Lamb and Pickens off that team and you just plugged in, mid-level guys, I don't think he elevates them to Pickens and Lamb. Pickens and Lamb are special players already. They already were, and so I think he's benefited from the luxury of playing with really good weapons on offense. He's lacked a running back consistently, but he's always had really big throwing numbers because he's thrown to Amari Cooper. He's thrown to, CeeDee Lamb. He's thrown to, I'm sure I'm missing somebody. Now Pickens,
Dez Bryant.
Dez Bryant. You had Dez Bryant before that. So he's always had kind of that one, a top tier wideout.
But what I'm trying to say is he's easily top 10 to me.
In the league,
in the
quarterback?
League. Yes.
Well, stat wise, sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that. I mean, he's fine. I don't look at Dak and I don't think I don't put him in my list of like, oh crap, we got Dak. We got to deal with Dak.
I think he's creeping into that spot.
Maybe
I think he's a really good quarterback.
Well, he's a veteran. He's getting. He's learned the game. He's becoming more savvy. You see that with a lot of players. I mean, if he retires tomorrow, is he a Hall of Famer?
Well, no.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like, where does he have to get to be a Hall of Fame? Consistency, keep doing it. So he'd probably do that. I don't know that he wins the Super Bowl. Maybe. I just don't know that they ever will with Jerry Jones running things still. So, but
in Jerry Jones' defense, obviously trading Micah seems to be a mistake. But again, we cannot fully evaluate that trade until the picks are picked. But in his defense, if you kind of remove that, and even like we could say it's a 50-50 trade at this point. It is what it is. You didn't want to pay the guy. That's understandable. Acquiring Pickens was a genius move for a third-round pick. Like, that was an absolutely genius move. Acquiring Javonte Williams seems to be a genius move. Getting Quinnen Williams seems like a genius move because he has absolutely transformed this defense, it appears. So we can hate Jerry all we want. I get it. I think he's still an idiot.
Genius and luck. I don't know where either.
How is it luck though?
I mean, they got George Pickens because nobody wanted him, and I don't think anybody thought he would. Well, but I
think a lot of people liked it.
I
thought he was a good player.
I think they thought, okay, that's great, but was it really a need? No, but now he's come in and he's done well, and and that's fine. But I think also it was more, a little bit of luck too, because he'd been a head case, right? He'd been difficult to deal with, and I think it's such a chaotic locker room anyway. He just kind of blends in.
Here's my defense. Would you not be... Listen, you can say what you want about receivers. They are made to be head cases because they're in the business of give me the ball.
Yeah.
He played with Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson.
Oh, I know.
For his entire career.
No, he's no doubt talented. And it was a good move.
So
I don't know, genius, and I don't know.
I think it was a genius
I
move.
don't know.
Here's where I come from. If Howie Roseman sent a third round pick to Pittsburgh for George Pickens, we'd all be like, that was a genius move by Howie.
Yeah, maybe.
So I just look at it objectively. I look at it as Dallas's GM sent a 3rd-round pick for George Pickens.
So how much do you pay Pickens?
30 at this point.
How
That's
much
what
is
he's
CD
worth.
getting?
33, 35.
So you have 2 receivers that you'd have $60 million a year.
It's not quite been done. Obviously
Whoa.
the Eagles are close. I mean, what you have to do is, and what the Eagles have done is you do pay those guys. You pay Barkley, you pay Hurts, you pay the O-line. What they
And
did,
hope you hit in the draft, I guess.
they did. They got Zach Bond for cheap, but also you saw this year. I mean, what the Eagles did that saved them was they got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, who are 2 huge impact players in the draft. They're paying them nothing, and then they also got Zach Bond for nothing. They're paying him now, but I mean, also they were built to make a run last year, and they did it, and they won the Super Bowl. You saw this year they lost Josh Sweat, they lost Milton Williams. I mean, those are 2 big pieces on the line, but then Howie knows go send a 3rd for Jalen Phillips and bring him in, and so that's why Howie's really good at his job. It's because he always finds a way to supplement the talent. So You can do it. It's risky, but at this point, I'd rather pay the guy and figure it out later than lose a talent like this, because he is a monster, and him and CD, they're hard. They're a difficult duo to deal with, legitimately. Like this is one, and obviously they're an amazing offensive team. And now that the defense is playing good with Quinnen Williams, like he has really locked it down. In the run game, like they stopped Genty. Who did they play last week? They stopped Barkley. They literally held Genty to 7 yards rushing. I think it was 6 carries for 7 yards. They held Barkley to 10 carries for 22 yards, and now they held the Kareem Hunt to 58 yards. So the run defense has been phenomenal. And I get it. Like Saquon has struggled this season. Genty has obviously struggled this season with that Raiders O-line. And the Chiefs haven't been particularly great at running the ball. But, I mean, if Jerry really wanted to stop the run, he's doing it. I do think they need better pass rush. It's a good edge rush draft. And Donovan Ezeraku is one of the best defensive rookies in the league right now at edge. So he's having a good rookie season. Clowney made a few plays in this game. I like what they're building over in Dallas. I'm not sure. I mean, I still think you've had pretty good teams in the past. It hasn't helped. It hasn't worked. So I'm not going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl anytime soon. But, going into the season, trading Micah seemed like a crazy, crazy thing. And I'm starting to kind of see the vision. But it still has to be executed. First-round picks look great until they pick a bust. So,
yeah. I
mean, they still have to do the plan.
The picks from Green Bay aren't going to be high first-round picks.
No.
So,
I think what Dallas's best interest would be to package and move if you're going to. And the bottom line is you're not going to draft a Micah Parsons level player.
No, you're not going to. Your hope is that you just get a couple of them that contribute, because you're not going to get a Micah. But you could have. The point with Jerry is that you could have just had Micah had you done things better. I
get why they didn't want to pay him, though. It's a lot of money. I get it.
I know. But, I mean, they're going to butt up against some problems if they've got the highest paid quarterback and the 2 highest paid receivers.
Fair.
Almost, right? Like, that's just... You're gonna struggle in other areas, and then so basically it's a move to win now. So can you win now when you do it? Because otherwise you're gonna lose some other players,
definitely,
just because of cap space.
I think with the draft picks, obviously they gave up 2 to go get Quinnen Williams, so there is that. But I think with the draft picks, they're hoping they can just get some defensive pieces, because. Mm-hmm. As long as you lock up Pickens, I mean, this offense will be good for years to come. So as long as you can get some defensive pieces.
Oh, and as long as he wants to stay there, because you never know with that guy. I mean,
Fair.
his agent might be. I mean, he's
All
showing
I'm
out.
saying-
He's showing out really well, and he's gonna have a lot of people wanting his services. So if somebody else can outbid Dallas, does he stay in Dallas for less?
The only reason I think he might is because he's seen what it's like with the horrible quarterback play. And he's like, you know what?
Well,
I got it pretty good here.
Aren't there other teams with good quarterbacks that would
I know,
want him?
but I'm saying like, there's no guarantee. All I'm saying, he might test the open market, see what he can get. But if I were him, I'd be like, you know what? In Dallas, I got a team who likes to throw the ball with Schottenheimer, who I think has done a great job, by the way. A skeptical hire, but I think he's done a really good job. We got an offense who likes to run the ball. Or not run the ball, likes to pass the ball. We got a pretty good quarterback. I might just stay here for $30 million or whatever it is. Maybe takes a good discount. Who knows? But Dallas picks up the big win on Thanksgiving. They're a staple of Thanksgiving football, and entertain the home fans. And by the way, Jerry Jones, you need to flip your stadium.
Too late.
90 degrees. Get the sun out of the players and the fans' faces. It's ridiculous. You're hurting your own team. There was a play where Pickens couldn't even see the ball. You're blinding the fans. They just had to sit there and have the sun hit them the entire game. They're in a dome. You're in a dome. And the funny part is that angle isn't even available in any other stadium because the seats go too high. So literally, you are the only stadium in the NFL where a fan can get blinded by the light like that. Every other stadium, even if it's open, the sun is like above them, and even to get to that angle, it's behind like the wall of seats. So it's a ridiculously, stupidly designed stadium. And like you were saying earlier, I think they have curtains. They don't put them up for whatever reason.
I've heard they do for concerts and stuff that are held
Stupid.
there.
It's
So
like,
I don't
put
know
up the
why.
curtains.
I don't know why he doesn't, or whatever it is, to block it out. But
I don't get it.
Yeah, he thinks that it messes with the opposing team, but for one quarter of the game, it also impacts your own.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. All right, let's get to the final game of the night, the Sunday night football game. Probably the most shocking game of the day, really.
If you said before this game, you said, okay, Bengals at Ravens, and the final score is 32-14. Who do you think is scoring the 32?
Easily the Ravens.
Easily the Ravens, especially the way the Bengal defense had been playing.
That's what's so weird. And these past 2 weeks, the Bengals defense has been playing better, but it's just very, very weird. Very, very weird. I don't really even know what to make of this. Obviously, Joe Burrow is elite. We can determine that.
Oh, yeah.
The stats aren't going to, 24 for 46 isn't great. Almost 50% completion percentage, but he just made some big throws. Some grown man, Joe Burrow throws.
Here's my point on quarterbacks that elevate players, okay? Joe Burrow elevates players, all right? And I'm not talking Jamar Chase because he's very good anyway. Because we watched Joe Flacco, connect with Chase quite a bit. So, no, he's not elevating Chase. I mean, he does. Chase benefits from him, no doubt. But that you saw Yoshivas, you saw Chase Brown, you saw who's their tight end? Gesicki. I mean, these guys were making catches because he's putting the ball in the spots they like. Yoshivas couldn't catch anything while Joe Burrow was out. I don't know how many drops that guy had in most games. He played well in this one.
Caught a
touchdown. I mean, Burrow elevates the team. Not only that, I mean, could it be that he elevated the defense? Did the defense?
I don't know.
Was the defense came in and was inspired? Now, granted, I will say, Lamar Jackson had some bonehead.
Looked like a rookie.
Oh my God, he had some bonehead turnovers in this game. The one that didn't end up impacting them because they stopped they stopped the Bengals early on, but he fumbles the ball right into the hands of the guy. It goes down as a strip sack on his own 3-yard line. And it's just he had the one that he lost the ball on a pump fake and a fumble, and then he throws a bad pick. I mean, it's just like
Well, listen to this.
horrible.
Since he's come back, so he had a great game against Miami, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Against Minnesota, 1 touchdown, no picks. Against Cleveland, no touchdowns, 2 picks. Against the Jets, no touchdowns, no picks. And against Cincinnati, no touchdowns, 1 pick. So for the past 3 weeks, he's not thrown a touchdown. He's thrown 3 picks. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know what's going on.
He hasn't looked as mobile.
No.
I think he's not fully recovered from his hammy.
Well, yeah, because look, I mean, he ran for 10 yards and 11 yards the past 2 weeks. He'd run for 27 yards in this game, but it's like, that ain't Lamar Jackson.
No.
This ain't the MVP of the league that we've seen. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah. The whole team looked bad. I mean,
They look horrible.
They looked good early on. I mean, they looked like they were flying to the ball. They were holding Cincinnati to field goals.
I will say, they kind of got screwed because, well, they didn't get screwed because, I mean, it was a good play by the Bengals, but, I mean, likely fumbles the ball at the back of the end zone. So, I mean, that was a touchdown, basically. He fumbles the ball at the back. So they automatically lose points and the possession of the football there. There was also a catch to Zay Flowers that got called back, I believe. Mm-hmm. So there was definitely a ton left on the table for Baltimore.
Yeah.
But they just looked really, really bad.
This was not a well executed game in any sense.
It came out of nowhere. They're on a 5-game winning streak,
especially against the worst defense in the league.
That's what makes no sense. If this was a 33-32 Baltimore win, it's like, all right, your defense kind of sucked. We've seen that at times. Joe Burrow is back. It's not like Joe Flacco's putting 32 on you. It's Joe Burrow. That's somewhat respectable. And honestly, I thought their defense did a pretty good job forcing field goals. How many? 6 field goals?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to blame the defense. It was just the offense was horrible, and Lamar was just missing throws, like easy throws, and throws that he should make, and he has made in his career. And it's like, where did this come from? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, I haven't seen this Lamar, and he started off the season so hot before he got injured. I don't even know what to make of this. And let's look at the Ravens. Still have an 86% chance to make the playoffs. But it's such an up and down division because, like, Steelers are gonna run away with this. They're 5-1 or whatever it was. Yeah. Ravens stand no chance, and then all of a sudden it flips, and now the Ravens are looking like they're gonna win the division, and you're like, wow, what just happened? And now they lose, and now, I mean, who knows what happens with the Steelers? I still don't think the Steelers are going to win it, neither does New York Times, obviously. It's just a really, really weird spot for the Ravens. The Bengals virtually have no chance. They still have less than 1%. Even if they win every single one of the rest of their games, it's only at a 78% chance. So, I mean, it's possible. And, I mean, if Joe Burrow can somehow elevate the entire team like he did in this game, somehow, inexplicably, I don't even know how it happened. Maybe he's a sorcerer of some kind, a wizard. Maybe it's possible. That'd be awesome. That'd be cool for the NFL. Get Allen, Lamar, and Josh, or Allen, Lamar, and Burrow in the playoffs without Mahomes. One of them's got to do it, right? And then you get Herbert in there, maybe. Bo Nix, Daniel Jones, and then maybe like a Trevor Lawrence. No, then Trevor Lawrence would be in there. But then you got a whole new slate of teams in the AFC battling it out without Mahomes. That'd be cool. But I don't think Cincinnati's going to make it. Their defense is just too bad at the end of the day. They still got to face the Bills, the Ravens again. Dolphins can be frisky. Cardinals can be frisky. Browns have a pretty good defense. I'm not going to write it in for them, but just a weird game. I don't even know what to really make of it. Ravens got to regroup, and they got to turn it around fast, or else they're going to be in danger of not making the playoffs. And once the Bengals get, Higgins back, maybe they go on a run here, kind of like we saw last year. Still feels like if they just could have beat the Bears. I mean, they had them dead to rights.
Oh,
If they just could have beat the Jets, they had them dead to rights. And
yeah. It's a
then
whole
you're
different-
6-6 right now,
Yep.
and you're tied with the Ravens. You're ahead of the Ravens.
Yeah.
You're
You'd
well,
be
I guess,
sitting pretty right now.
yeah, and I don't know if you'd be ahead of the Steelers or not. You'd be looking good,
But you still got the Ravens playing the Steelers twice. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting great. You're sitting in a good spot. Had you beat the Jets, had you beat the Bears,
and you should have. You controlled those
Yep.
games. But at the end of the day, Joe Burrow is like, if we're talking true most valuable player, it is easily Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
The Bengals are very bad without Joe Burrow. Even with Joe Flacco, who's
Yeah.
offers some stability. Like, there was a night and day difference tonight.
This score doesn't happen with Joe Flacco.
No, not at all. Joe Flacco can get the ball to guys. He's a distributor, but the plays that Joe Burrow was making in the pocket, like, he looked like the toe injury never happened.
Yeah.
He was moving well, and that's what makes him underrated. Is he is so good at maneuvering in the pocket, very Rodgers-esque, where he's able to maneuver around, find lanes to get on the run and throw. Made a ton of those plays tonight. He's a fun player to watch because he's super unique in that aspect, and he's just one of the most accurate guys in the league. But Lamar's got to get his act together. The Ravens got to get their act together. And how many times we watch these guys and we're like, they lost. And then you look at the carries and you're like, wow, Henry only carried the ball 10 times. Like, yeah, that was smart, guys. And I get it. Like, you're down and it's hard to run the ball, but still, I feel like we've seen that so many times. Like, when they lost in the championship game to the Chiefs, they didn't run the ball. And I don't know why that happens.
Yeah.
But it's just weird.
They go away from it.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So they got to regroup and find a way out of this. But the Bengals win 32-14. Tomorrow, Bears, Eagles. Who you got?
I mean, I have to go with Eagles.
I think the Eagles will trounce the Bears. It won't be close.
I think the Eagles are feeling pretty, blowing a 21-point lead in Dallas. I think they're looking to bounce back, and I think it's a get-right game for them.
I'm a known Bears hater. I think the Bears are frauds. So I think this is their rude awakening. If it's not, if
it's not, then we're
scared.
Well,
because the Packers lost that team, the Lions lost that team, and it's like, I don't know what to make of these Bears. They're kind of scaring me.
Based
now.
on how it's kind of been, I think the Eagles, especially at home, kind of handle them in that
tough.
game. So,
but yeah, we'll see what happens. Going to be interesting. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving. Enjoy Black Friday. Go out there, get some good deals on some stuff, but be careful and get trampled. That's always a scary horror story every year. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, all those things. It helps out a ton. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Have a good night. Stay safe, and we will see you in the next one. Take it easy.